In this video, we'll take a brief look at SQL set operators. Referring to these operators as set operators may be a bit misleading because these are not the only SQL operators that work with sets. All SQL data manipulation commands are set-oriented, meaning that the commands work with sets or tables of data. In this video, we will focus on the union, intersect, and difference relational operators. Recall that these operators require that the tables or sets be union compatible. Union compatible sets have the same number of columns, and corresponding columns must have compatible data types. For these examples, we'll work with the customer table and the customer to table. Notice that the tables have different structures. That is, they are not union compatible because they have a different number of columns. It is unusual to find tables that are union compatible in real-world databases. Therefore, set operators typically take the results of queries as their operands, so the queries can project tables that are union compatible. The SQL standard defines the operations that the DBMS should perform on the data, but it leaves the details of the implementation of the operators to individual DBMS product vendors. Therefore, you will find some small differences in the exact syntax from DBMS to DBMS. For example, Oracle uses the keyword minus to perform a difference operation. For this video, we will be using Oracle to illustrate these set operators. Let's start with the union operator. Recall that the union operator appends the rows of one table to another table, dropping any duplicate rows that would result. In this case, we will project the customer first name, last name, and phone number from each of our tables and perform a union between them. First, let's see the projection from the customer table. Notice the number of rows returned. There are 10 rows in the customer table. Now let's look at our projection of the customer to table. Notice that the customer to table returns 7 rows. Now let's see the union. Notice that only 15 rows are returned. That tells us that 2 rows were dropped as being duplicates. If we want to see the rows that were duplicated, then we need to look for the rows that the two sets had in common. That is what the intersect operator is for. The intersect operator will display only the rows that are exactly the same in both tables. This shows us that both Leona Dunn and Paul Olowski appeared in both tables with the same phone number. Union shows us the combination of the two tables. Intersect shows us what they had in common. And now difference will show us what each table has that is unique. In Oracle, the difference operator is implemented using the minus keyword. In other DBMS, you may find that difference is implemented using the except keyword. Either way, the function of the operator is the same. Minus will display the rows in the first table that do not appear in the second table. So the command will show us the rows in the customer table that are not in the customer to table. Notice that there are 8 rows that appeared in customer that were not in customer to. Switching the order of the operands will show us the rows in the customer to table that are not in the customer table. This shows us the 5 rows that were in the customer to table that were not in the customer table. This concludes our presentation of set operators.